I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too.
So whenever I tell people I love Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, people tend to go, really? That film that ruined the franchise? And I agree, the film does jump the shark. I mean, even the people who made it seem to think that.
We jumped the shark a little.
The Nightmare series did go crazy, with Freddy wearing sunglasses in Part 4, riding a skateboard in Part 5, or playing a video game in Part 6.
Hey, you forgot the Power Glove!
So yes, Freddy changed in the sequels, even though at Part 6 the films were still about this dream demon who uses his powers to kill teenagers in their sleep. As for the humor, yes, the series got more and more funny, but even the original did contain some dark humor.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
Now, I'm not going to debate whether Freddy's Dead or any of the Nightmare sequels switched tone too much compared with the original, but I want to say that most horror franchises jump the shark somewhere. So let's take a look at some of the biggest and most popular horror franchises and the moment where they all become, well, kinda ridiculous. First up, the Leprechaun franchise. No, I'm just kidding. Those movies were ridiculous from the get-go. So let's jump to Hellraiser. Whenever I think about the Hellraiser franchise, I always think, how did this
We'll tear your soul apart.
become this?
Now you will come with us.
But as much as you might hate Hellraiser Revelations from 2011, the series went bad earlier on. Because in 2005, they created Hellworld. In this installment, we see teenagers playing a Hellraiser game on their computer, featuring lines from Pinhead, and someone is even wearing a Pinhead shirt. Meanwhile, Pinhead himself is decapitating teenagers with a meat cleaver. That makes me think back to the original, a film that mainly focused on the thrilling and powerful relationship between Frank and Julia, and where the Cenobites play a small but important role and were actually menacing and mysterious. They kept that tone in the second movie, arguably one of the best horror sequels ever made. And then they made Pinhead into more of an ordinary slasher villain for the third one. For instance, in Hellbound, they actually leave Tiffany alone because Pinhead discovers she's not the one they want. Yet one movie later and Pinhead is just slaughtering everyone in a nightclub and enjoying the hell out of it. But it does get weirder seeing Pinhead winds up in space one movie later. Can you really look at the first two Hellraiser movies and think, yeah, obviously Pinhead should go to space next? I mean, which movie franchise takes its bad guy to space in the fourth film? You know who also went to space? Jason, of course. Now, I'm not talking bad about Jason X, seeing it's actually a kind of fun film. Yet just look at the film. And then look at the original Friday the 13th. The story of a heartbroken mother who takes revenge for the death of her son by killing people who want to reopen a summer camp. And a few movies later, her dead son goes to space, gets an upgrade, and fights an android. I mean, can you imagine Victor Miller, while writing the script for the first Friday the 13th, having that in mind?
The boy. Is he dead too?
No, the boy will grow up to be a zombie and kill teenagers in space. But before he does that, he has to hop from body to body and has to undress and shave a cop. Oh yeah, and he visits Manhattan and fights Carrie. Yeah, that fits the story perfectly. And the same goes for that other silent mask killer, Michael Myers. John Carpenter deliberately gave us a character with minimal backstory. Mr. Myers just seemed evil without any reason, which is scary. Now we all know Rob Zombie gave Michael Myers some backstory in his vision, and you can say what you want about that film, but at least it's not Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Can you imagine John Carpenter writing Halloween and then thinking, and then we discover the shape is actually doing these things because of a thorn curse, led by that guy from Dharma and Greg, who makes Michael rape and impregnate his niece. Let's all be thankful they threw away this continuity with Halloween H2O and went for a different direction. Only that timeline did end like this. And that's the last we saw of that Michael Myers. And Michael is not the only horror character that started out serious but ended up fighting a famous rapper.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, Gold who? Gold? Finger.
I'm of course talking about Chucky. That killer good guy doll scared many people when it first appeared in 1988's Child's Play. Did anyone guess that 16 years later that doll was married, had a transsexual kid, and would face rapper Redman, actress Jennifer Tilly, and director John Waters? Just think about it. In just a matter of 4 movies, that doll went from terrorizing a young boy and his mother to killing Britney Spears.
Oops, I did it again.
Now, it's fitting for a video about franchises jumping the shark to end with an actual movie franchise about a shark. I'm of course talking about Jaws, a wonderful, well-made horror film and still one of my personal favorites. Sure, the first sequel was unnecessary, but it was okay. Then we got Jaws 3, which was followed by Jaws the Revenge. Yes, one of the best horror films out there, featuring great acting, very memorable characters, and a thrilling plot, got a sequel with a laughable 3D shark. And ended with an even dumber movie, with a shark that roars. So yes, most horror franchises, including the ones with our favorite horror icons, have jumped the shark one way or another. So even if you hate it, don't be too hard on Freddy's Dead. It doesn't deserve that.
What do you know? I beat my high score.